Hello, YouTubers. I am Angela Logan, and this is Everyday Shenanigans. It is Wednesday, October 23rd, 2019. Greetings from the High 10. I just want to give you all an update on the press conference that took place in Birmingham, Alabama last night, and today I am rendering my opinion as usual from the things I'm seeing and hearing. I want to let you all know that they spoke at the City Hall today at 1 p.m. There was a vigil at 4 p.m. at Lynn Park and a vigil at the Tom Brown housing community at 8 p.m. tonight in Birmingham, Alabama. I guess what I wanted to discuss were the commentary given by the chief of police, Mr. Smith. By no means do I want to downgrade this man's commentary or opinion, but I have some problems with what was said in the press conference that he gave last night as far as, Camille and the other child being on the play area and just the questions that reporters were asking about why she was chosen and this and that. He basically alluded to the fact that they took the child that was, I guess, easiest to get into the car. Well, see, I have a problem with that because, one, she's a child. And you showed a video, you gave a video to the public to show barely you can make out the people. There was a point when one video was zoomed in, depending on where you saw the video, which news outlet you saw the video from. But on one video where they kind of zoomed in, yes, you saw two small children playing. A gentleman walks by, I'm assuming a man, and then another man walks by who you allege has a limp. And then that guy walks by, the second guy, and the two children follow. So, of course, naturally, when people first saw that video before the body was found, most of us would have assumed that she knew the person because her father and his mother gave commentary to the news that Miss Cupcake was not a friendly child. So she follows this gentleman, the other little girl follows. And so now that we know that it was allegedly a random kidnapping, why didn't they take two kids? Now, yes, we are grateful that they didn't take the other child. We are horrified that they took Cupcake. Because I don't want you all to get this video misunderstood, the point I'm trying to make. But two children follow someone to a car, SUV, for whatever reason, candy, whatever, I don't know. But they take only Cupcake. But yet they have a second child, which I find odd. They didn't take the second one. Because let's be truthful. Why did they not just lure the one child away if that was the child that you had been eyeing and that was the child that you wanted? And so I didn't like the chief's explanation that they took the child that was easiest to get into the car because naturally in the video it shows two children walking behind the suspect. Now, what happened out of sight of camera, I don't know. Why they chose Cupcake over the other little girl, I don't know. But the crazy part is, as I stated in my video earlier, you still left an eyewitness. Okay? No matter who the suspect is. They, them, those, one, whatever, left an eyewitness who I'm assuming can talk and can see. Okay? So, a week goes by, we get no information from the police, which I understand. You're doing an investigation. You can only give out so many details of the case. We're hearing all type of ugly things about the parents through social media. So naturally, most of us who followed it through social media came to conclusions that were not highly favored of the parents. I will admit I was one of them. I own it. I have no problems owning it, and I told you I would own it. Okay, so a child's a child, like they say. It doesn't matter if the child's mean today, mean for 5 days, deemed mean, whatever. It comes off negative under the circumstance that you now have a dead body. It doesn't sound good. Because children, if they think that they can get something that's beneficial to them, like anyone, even an adult, they would follow suit. Why wouldn't they? They could have said, we've got dolls, we've got a bicycle, we've got a video game. Well, I mean, whatever it is, they're still a child. So to say she was the easier target is, to me, irresponsible to even say that, due to the fact both children followed the suspect, okay? Now, I have a problem with the fact that you let this creep bond out. Now, I don't know the state laws there in Alabama as far as how long you can hold a suspect in a case, but I think it was, to me, irresponsible to let this guy go back. I mean, let this guy bond out. When now you want to tell us, we've been investigating, we had an idea who the suspect were, that's why we never told you all anything, because we were gathering information. Well, then dang, if you were gathering information and you thought this was your guy, why in the hell would you let him bond out? Oh, and for those of you who did not know or do not know, several people put up their properties for this creep to bond out. How about that? Yes. Interesting, isn't it? That some people, obviously related to this SOB, put up their properties for him to get out, for him to only be rearrested days later, to only have his lawyer get on TV days before the child has been found to say he didn't do it. He's appalled that he was arrested and been fingered as the suspect originally. Mind you, this was said days ago before Cupcake was found. So it's a lot of craziness. And as for the young lady who has been using an alias, I think that's odd. You all still haven't said anything about that on the news since you're giving out the details of the child being found. How about telling the world that allegedly that's not her government name, Miss Derek Arisha Brown, that her name is Quintessa Jackson? From what I've seen on the Facebook page, looks like the girl. So what? I find it odd that when she committed her crime last year of kidnapping the children, she actually got the children, put them in a car, 3 kids, wrecked the car, hit a motorist, hit a sheriff's SUV in lieu of trying to get away from the scene with the children. But yet, you all didn't have her real name. How could you not have her real name when, one, her children are in foster care, which we all know is connected to the state? So when the children got placed, you would have had her real government name. So how is it when she got arrested for the kidnapping charge last year, which took place in July, make sure I get this right, July 13, 2018, how is it that she gets arrested for kidnapping her children, but yet you don't have her real name, and she gave this fake name? Okay, so someone could say, well, she didn't have fingerprints. Maybe so. Okay, she had never been in any trouble, and she got arrested coming from the foster home. She gave that fake name. But still somewhere in, let me word this correctly. From the time she got arrested, and let's say she gave the alias, this Derek Arisha Brown name, someone still should have known, hey, that's not her name when she went to court. You see? Because when she went to court and they called her name out in court, the state should have known, social workers should have known, that's not her name. That's not her government name. Her name is Quintessa Jackson. Do you see where I'm going with this? See, I don't miss nothing. I listen to everything that's been said, all the rumors of this and that, and I weigh everything out before I repeat it to you all, because I'm a heavy thinker. And like I said, she may have never had a criminal record when she got arrested for the charge of the kidnapping of the children. But at some point when she went to court, whoever's involved in the state's case, foster care, all of that, should have known, hey, that's not her name. So I find a problem with that. Why the chief, the police department have not released her government name to the public, that she's been using an alias. Okay, Mr. Stalwart does not have a heavy criminal record himself. He had a weed charge in 2003, if I'm not mistaken, 2004. 2004, a misdemeanor charge, and then he had a felony weed charge in 2014, if I'm not mistaken, and that was the gist of his criminal activity. So here we are. We have a guy who doesn't have a extensive record dealing with, sexual assault or anything sexual related or related to children. Just two weed charges, and now he's the suspect. But yet you've got the young lady who kidnapped her kids from a foster home, which that's a heavy link to this child going missing. How these two met is interesting. How did these two meet? How did they come about to meet? It's kind of probably stupid to even ask why he had underage girls on his phone, pornography. Under the age of 17 is what was said in a report. How did these two demons cross paths with one another? Very interesting. As far as Camille's body being found in the dumpster in the landfill, which is in Gardendale, Alabama, I'm going to bring it to you. I do my work now. Okay. It is said in the article I just read that the dumpster that was found at the landfill with her body inside of the dumpster was linked to the Woodside condominiums. So I guess they have those dumpsters numbered or have the information on them so they'll know to take them back to, whichsoever apartment complex in Birmingham, I guess like anywhere in America. And it is said that dumpster came from the Woodside condominium. So that's a heavy link to him as well. If he resided at Woodside or stayed there, I don't know if his name's on the lease or anything, so I haven't heard anything about that. But that's a heavy link to him. That her body was found in a dumpster linked to that property. Okay, so we got all that out of the way. So, I've given you the two suspects, background information on the suspects, the commentary given by the chief that, like I said, I don't agree with as far as her being an easy target, Camille. Like we said, children are children. Doesn't matter their disposition, how they carry themselves. They're still a child, okay? We as humans, as grown-ups, we're easy to be lured into something as well. If someone saying, hey, I'm offering this, I'm giving this free. Of course, most of us know better than to walk over to anybody's car or van just because we hear all the horrible stories of women being kidnapped. You have to be careful in parking lots to make conversation with people, to be stopped by people. But a child is totally different. It is very easy to lure a child because of their mindset. Their mind and their brain is not fully developed. So naturally, they would go with anybody if they thought they were going to get a pizza or potato chips or a doll or bike or whatever that would be of interest to them. Okay, I want to make sure I've gotten everything that I said I was going to talk about. Let's talk about Chief Smith talking about the people in the video. This even gets more stupid to me. You know how I am. I think you all know my demeanor by now. I love people. I love kids. But this to me is just buffoonery. The reporters asked Chief about the people in the video. Someone asked about the guy with the limp. Is that Stalwart? He didn't answer. Do you know the people in the video, the two people that were at the park with the children? We're not going to identify them at this time. We're still investigating. Okay. They're still naturally deeming Miss Camille death as a homicide. The coroner released a report about that, about her. It being a homicide. They will give more information. They're going to wait till they, further do the autopsy. And once they have conducted the autopsy, they will make a decision if they want to release the information to the public as the manner of death. Just seems like a lot of secrets to me. Just initially from the beginning to me. We had no idea who did what, why. Because that's the thing about anyone being murdered or kidnapped, murdered, whichever comes first. You're always wondering who and why. Why did they do it? So social media gave us a glimpse into the lives of the parents. And most of us assumed that they had something to do with it because of their demeanor. And then the chief goes on to tell us that last night in the press conference that he wanted the family to stay in the background. He didn't want the mother out front to jeopardize the investigation. Well, I found that ridiculous because over the years we have seen numerous people give press conferences and updates to the case pertaining to their family member, their child, their mother, husband, wife going missing. And yes, sometimes those people were in the public eye talking and they were behind the missing and the death of that person, but we didn't know at that time. So now you say, I didn't want her out front. So I'm still leery to why. What did you think she was going to say to jeopardize the case? Did you think she was going to start to say things bad about the baby father? Or someone else in the family? I don't know, because I'm confused. Because we already know that the father, of course, did a live feed, which he insinuated that he didn't insinuate, he just said something about a ransom note and this and that, basically throwing April under the bus as a conspirator to the child's disappearance. So why he did that, I do not know. I'll probably keep saying that until I get tired of talking about this case. Because now, after the fact, her body being found in a dumpster that is linked to the Woodside condominium where Mr. Stallworth lived, now you backtrack and think, hindsight, why would he throw this girl under the bus, the baby's mother, and say she tried to extort him for money, for a ransom, if now we know that Stallworth is behind the girl's death, that the evidence is leading toward Mr. Stallworth and this Derek Brown girl, okay? Very weird to me. And this is why I said this in my video earlier. It is offensive for this father, if he doesn't have anything to do with the case, the child's death now, that you would throw your baby mother under the bus. Did you hate her so much that you would throw her under the bus as the culprit behind the kidnapping, now death of your own child? You had that much hate for her? Because one would have to question that. And naturally, the chief is still talking that rhetoric of moving on and peace and don't blame anybody, don't point any fingers, and it's time to move on from that. Well, see, I'm one of them people, I admit, I hold a grudge. I'm that sister. If I feel somebody's violated me, foul, I may not hate them, depending on the circumstances, but like this situation here, I still feel something ain't right. I still feel like something is missing. Could be wrong, but something still is foul, because I feel like if it is true that these two who have been arrested again now on capital murder for the death of Camille McKinney, then why would a father throw his baby mama under the bus when he didn't have to do that? Then making a comment that he knew she was all right. Well, are you saying you knew she was all right because the mother came to you basically saying she wanted ransom money, so you assumed that she was alive? You see, still open-ended interpretations. I'm wondering how long the child survived. In my mind, I'm thinking she probably was dead soon after they got her, because that usually happens when creeps kidnap children. They do whatever they do to them, sick and wicked, and then they dispose of them. Because we have to take into account that she went missing near 8:30 on a Saturday evening. They arrested the two suspects the next day, Sunday evening. So naturally, she was not in visual where you could see when they arrested the two, or we would have heard or that they found her body. So I'm assuming they did whatever they did to her, and they put her in a trash bag into the dumpster on the site where they lived. And that's how that body got in the dump site at the landfill. I don't think she was kept somewhere else now that they have linked this gentleman to having her. I don't think so. Once again, could be wrong, but I'm only going where the evidence is leading me. So the fact that they're saying they found her at this dump site, at this dumpster pertaining to that apartment complex, that condominium, it leads one to think that they did whatever they did with her that night after kidnapping her, and then they put her in that trash in a bag, in a plastic bag, and dispose of her in the dumpster. Sick and wicked, horrible, and just petrified. Now people are going to be wondering in Alabama, like anywhere, we're definitely going to have to watch our children and keep an eye on them, because now there is no more playing outside unattended. But you all knew that anyway. And as far as this village mantra going on, that means nothing to me as well, because I feel like, once again, these people dropped the ball. Those who attended that birthday party, those who saw the child going back and forth, wandering back and forth from the apartment, using the restroom outside. Yes, I'm still saying this because I'm not going to let the chief or nobody sugarcoat the fact that this child was unattended, and this is why she is no longer living. You got to call a spade, you see. Because, see, this will happen again. And then you'll get some people jumping on board and on TV saying the same thing. Don't point fingers. Let's move on. Let's do this. Well, we still have to always go back to the beginning. That is how you solve any crime. Okay? It's how you solve any crime. You go to the beginning. And the beginning is that this child, and obviously the brother too, you can't leave him out, although he is alive. But he and the child were unattended. And I have yet to still hear anything about this cousin. Since Mr. Chief wanted everyone to lay in the background and not give any commentary. Okay, where is the cousin at? Where was she at when this child went missing? Where were her children, since it is alleged that she has children? This is funky still to me. So don't tell me about we shouldn't point fingers and don't blame anybody. And yes, they're in mourning and the family needs prayers. Yes, they do. But I still feel some type of way towards these parents, the mother at least, and the cousin. I'm just going to keep it real. And a little bit towards the father, because I'm still leery about the ransom commentary. Now, factoring in after the fast forward, these people are linked to Camille's death, still rank and ratchet to me. And who would play off the fact that their child was kidnapped and use that to their advantage to turn on the other parent? You all need to stay woke. I ain't listening to nothing this chief's saying. I think he's a nice guy. I think his demeanor is, mild-mannered from what I'm seeing. And I don't want to seem like I'm being facetious or nasty, but I'm just one of those people, I don't leave a stone unturned. And I don't believe in sugarcoating stuff. And I don't believe in covering up stuff. Because like I said, she got missing because she was not watched. So you talking about pointing fingers and don't do that and this. Well, somebody needs to own the responsibility of her getting gone. Bottom line. I don't care that it was in the projects. I don't care if it was in a middle-class neighborhood. I don't care if it was in an upper middle-class neighborhood. The point still remains that someone was responsible for her and that brother, and she got missing. And by the grace of God, that other child didn't get taken. Okay? Why they singled her out, I don't know. What did they need with her? I don't know. I don't know if that young girl was missing her own kids and she wanted a child so badly. And he and her agreed, come on. Because really we don't even know who was actually in the car when the child went missing. Come on with it. Because we still haven't heard anything about the white lady that was allegedly seen with him handing out candy on this property. And once again, nobody called the law that these people were suspicious. And what about the exchanging of the cars? Remember a child said that? Why would they need to exchange cars? Because so far, you only have information of that SUV being the car that kidnapped the baby. Just some things for you all to ponder on, things that I am still pondering on. I don't want to dwell on this now that she has been found, but naturally, like they say, you have to wait to see what else will unfold, because this case already had a lot of twists and turns, because so much had been divulged about the parents on social media, for those of you who followed, and it's just a sick tale of, like I said, irresponsible people taking care of children, and that's my opinion. And I'm going to ride or die on that opinion. Okay? No matter what else unfolds in this case. Everyone needs to stand account for not aiding that child to safety. The cousin, the mother, all of that. Because like I said, I don't know these people. But naturally, the father made commentary about the mother not watching her child or letting her child go to a place where those children weren't watched by that cousin. So there's got to be some truth to what he said about the cousin, because we now see his own child got missing. And I think that's even more baffling, that Camille did not even live in this housing project, but yet she goes missing visiting there. That's deep. That's really deep. So all along, children running around Birmingham, being a child, and now we know they weren't safe. Like so many other places. But like they said, they never heard of any children going missing in Birmingham, being kidnapped, then found deceased. But finally, one got missing and is now dead. And I want to tell you something else that's very interesting. When I had went on April Thomas's Facebook page a while back, she had made a commentary about her child, saying, "Somebody come get Cupcake. I don't feel good. I'm sick," whatever. Now, fast forward from the time she made that comment. I believe it was this summer, if I'm not mistaken. So imagine making that comment on social media. Come get Cupcake. Somebody come get Cupcake. Cupcake, excuse me. Well, guess what? Somebody did. Somebody did come get Cupcake. And they murdered her. So you see, if you're a Christian, some of you may not be, but if you are Christian, it's in the scripture about speaking on things, that if you speak it, then you're claiming it. And we don't think about that as people. And no matter what your religious beliefs are, this has come true for many people. You speak something into existence without thinking about what you're saying, it can surely happen. So she spoke that. Come get her. Now, I don't know if she was angry or frustrated or just having a bad night or was actually sick, physically ill, but she spoke it. And who would think someone would actually come get her? And they murdered her. So be very careful what you claim, okay? Be very careful what you claim. Be very careful the things you post on social media, the things you talk about. Because as you see, a lot has been said about this case, which led us to think these parents were involved. People fed into the hype. People orchestrated the hype for us to feed into it. We are all human. We didn't know much about these people, so we read what was said. We didn't know these people. Fake ransoms, sick stuff. And all you who were jumping on the bandwagon trying to get the bag, well, you'll probably go to jail along with these two. Because you're trying to get your 5 minutes of fame. And I tell you something else that bothered me. The girl that went live, who's claiming to have seen Mr. McKinney put the baby in the car, her and her friends or sister, whatever, in the car that night. And she's been make a live video. I didn't like the comment of where she said she didn't want to give a formal statement downtown. I thought that was peculiar. So you'll go on live saying what you saw that night, you and your sister, your friends, whoever were in that car. But then you say, I don't want to get involved. I don't want to have to testify. But you did get involved. You know, giving your number to the detectives, that don't mean anything because you've already opened your mouth. You spoke on it. And I think that's really irresponsible to even speak on saying I saw this person with a child. And she was in a sheet and he was putting her in a car, blah, blah, blah. And then later you'll say, I didn't want no involvement. I'm not going to sign my name on no paper downtown. Because then, if it goes to trial, they would subpoena me to court. Well, they could still subpoena you. Because you opened your mouth and said what you saw. Now, maybe lucky for you, Mr. McKinney isn't involved in any way with this case. And it is just the two that were arrested. Because your words would probably come back and haunt you, and you would be subpoenaed if they ever found out Mr. Kenny did have some involvement in this kidnapping. You people be doing too much. You don't want nobody to make you out a liar. You get up here and scream and holler, you're telling the truth, the spoken word. You have no reason to be a clout chaser, blah, blah, blah. But yet you still show your character. You still show your character. And this is what I'm saying. A lot of you hyped up the scenario with this case. But yet you cried and moaned that you were telling the truth about what you seen, what you saw, this and that. Facebook is dangerous. All of that. Social media, Twitter, Snapchat, all that crazy nonsense. Instagram. Because you can be whoever you want to be. You can hide behind a puppet. You can hide behind emojis. You can hide behind pictures that don't belong to you. Putting flowers and different things up on your Facebook profile and yah. You can be whoever you want to be. You can say whatever you want to say without thinking there'll be any repercussions. But now, fast forward, with this case unfolding and this child being found deceased, you now see that maybe sometimes it's best to just be quiet. Maybe people thought they were helping. There's nothing wrong with giving your opinion on what you think is the truth. But as you see, it got out of hand. And then the chief wants to say, this isn't TV. I thought that was a bit odd to say that. Whoever said it was TV? Whoever said a mother and family giving a public appearance about their child missing is for show or TV? I didn't understand that comment. I didn't take this as a joke. I thought it was sickening. I thought what was happening on social media pertaining to this case was sickening. And we assumed these people were guilty because we didn't see them out front rallying for their child, asking for help. So you see, Chief Smith, you help aid the BS on social media by keeping them in the cut and not saying anything. That's right, I'm saying that. You help aid the hype because you thought you were doing what was best for the investigation, but in the meanwhile, people were turning against April and Dominic from what they were hearing people talk about on social media. Seemed like to me, you had to have been hearing those things and you should have said, let's try to dispel and downplay these rumors because it's starting to get messy and it's making more crazy tips come in. And then you got your fake people calling in, I'm sure. And then they're jumping on social media with their, I think this, woo. They should have been out front. And you should have talked to them about what they're going to say, how they're going to say it. Not saying it should have been screened or scripted, but just say we need everything to remain positive in your commentary about your child. Till the next time, till the next update of this case, I will definitely stay on it. You all stay safe out there. People, please watch your children. Please love your children. Show them that you love them and support them, okay? And keep a mindful watch of the whereabouts of your children and the company you keep, because all that is going to come into play as far as keeping your child safe from predators. I am Angela Logan, and I want to thank you for joining me, liking, sharing, passing my name along. God bless you. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.